Well, we're back to reviewing stuff, and we're starting with the Godzilla x Kong. Actually, I'm gonna call it Kong x Godzilla because that's what really this movie is. They put Godzilla in the front, just they're like, yeah, that's gonna what sell the ticket. But really, it's more of a Kong story where Godzilla is kind of just like an overpowered thing, just running around, destroying everything in its path, without barely any problems, and just taking everything from everything. That's what Godzilla is. But they did show that, why Godzilla is Godzilla. There were many moments where we were like, yep, that's the king of monsters. There is a reason for that. At the end of the day, you know what? I was expecting this movie to be goofy. The first time I've watched the first trailer, it was like, I don't know, this pink Godzilla thing, this. And then I watched the trailer again. Second trailer came out. I was into it. I was like, all right, I get what they're trying to do. I understand. Let's just go with it. Let's get what this is. Let's just go with it. It's far from the first Godzilla movie, The King of Monsters, Godzilla vs Kong. It does not look anything like that. Let's just go with it and let's see what happens. But at the end of the day, I didn't even get that goofiness because yeah, the goofiness might mean like the colors. It's a much more brighter movie than versus Kong. Kong, those fights in that movie, King of Monsters versus Godzilla, obviously was the darkest. But every fight in all those three movies, they felt danger. Like you felt that something's at stake. There is a danger coming. The surprise at the end of Godzilla vs Kong. If you've not watched it, I'm not going to spoil it. You felt it. The biggest problem with this movie is that every plot point is just so convenient, man. Like I was like, is there any danger anywhere here? Like anytime anything happens, conveniently you just go to the next plot point. You just go past it. All right, that's fixable. Even the gauntlet thing, the way Kong gets it, you're like, you could not just find a better way to like do it. So at least it's like yeah, he has the gauntlet, so you feel that he got the gauntlet. It just happens, and he gets the gauntlet. It's kind of just like, all right, now he has the gauntlet. That's fine. And there's like the pink power for Godzilla, like that was like okay. It didn't does it have to be pink? It could be anything. There was like no reason behind it. Unless there's some encyclopedia out there, there's like, oh, he had to get it. That's a different thing. But as far as the movie, it could be anything, right? There's like no big reason that they say, oh, he's getting that. There's a power behind it, but like, just gets it. And there literally are like couple of fights in there. Where it's like, it's just conveniency written all over it. The fight's about to happen. You're like, whoa, cool imagery. And they show a bit of the fight, and then they literally show the aftermath of the fight, where it's like Kong and Godzilla are like, yeah, they're victorious. The fight itself never is shown. They're just, yeah, they're overpowered, and then let's just go to the next plot point. And that's literally the whole movie. Then I'm like, okay, well, I was starting to feel these things. I'm like, all right, they're building it up. The Scar King, that first fight with Kong and Scar King is actually that whole sequence where it's like no humans, nothing, just the monsters. You're like, yeah, this is good stuff. All right, I like this. I like this fight. This is dangerous. And that build up, and that build up, and that happens, and it happens, and it goes towards the end. You have the final fight, and that final fight was a disappointment, at least to me. And the biggest thing I felt in it is that all of the previous movies, you felt the grandeur, right? The ship battle between Kong, Godzilla, when they're fighting in the city, the fight at the end with that other monster, or the King of Monsters battle. You felt the grandeur. There were many shots where it's like from bottom to the top. So you felt that, oh, these are kaijus or monsters just going at each other. There's very minimal stuff here like that. You never feel like there's some kind of danger. It's like, yep, just everything's battling each other, and that's it. And that's what happens at the end. And that, I think, is the problem with the Hollow Earth, because Hollow Earth, obviously, these monsters there are like their size are normal for that place. So you never feel the grandeur is like, okay, this is dangerous or something's about to happen. It just was like conveniency. And that big build up to that last battle, and it happens, and there's some cool stuff in it, and it just ends, and everything just ends, and it's all happy. And that's kind of like what the movie is. And even like the human story, when you start thinking about it, it's kind of laid out in there, and there's like a prophecy and all of that. And when you start thinking, you're like, now there's the danger. Like, what was happening when the King of Monsters was stuff was happening, or when Godzilla versus Kong was happening? There was enough danger there too. But now that's the danger. So if the danger is that big, that last battle should be that much bigger, and it ends up not being that much bigger. At least to me, it just felt like it started and it's about to go off, and you want to see some really, really cool, some real danger there, and then it just, the end result happens. You're like, well, all right, well, I guess that's it. It was such a short fight based on the buildup we're doing. So the buildup happened, the last fight happened, but the last fight is kind of, disappointing. So overall, you just feel like, yeah, it's enjoyable. And again, it's just enjoyable, or it's an okay film. It does not hit anywhere close to what Godzilla vs. Kong did. Even the human stuff was like kind of like but the fights themselves were so good and so well choreographed, and the picturization of all of it was so well done. King of Monsters, or the first Godzilla movie, it was all just done in a way you are like, all right, I can get along with the human stuff as long as that stuff is great. That stuff was great, so you went along with it. Throughout here, is though, it's like the human stuff is not interesting, so it's like, all right, the other stuff for me at least was not as grand or as, danger filling, or danger kind of a like that, where you feel like something's at stake, because everything was just convenient. Every plot point was just like, yeah, let's just roll with it, and let's get to the end, and then that happens, and that's it. So overall, I mean, going back to a review kind of thing, this is my first movie in like, what, a year or so. It was okay. It was okay. I started to expect a lot from it, and I just did not get it. It's not a bad movie, but it's somewhere in the average. It's not a good movie. It's not something I'm going to buy on Blu-ray or be like, oh, let's watch it again. It just felt like it just went, and that was it. That's kind of my take on this. What did you all think about this? Leave a comment below. Let me know. Other than that, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all soon. Thanks for the support. Ta-da. ACAP.